I'm back again. It's only minutes after the last video. But for you, it's been a whole day. And I hope you've had time to do the exercise of setting your set points, determining your set points, figuring out what your refresh rate is. You remember I said in one of those videos where I told on myself and I said I was going to record the videos ahead of time. Because let me tell you, child, I have a crazy week coming up, a crazy new schedule. I just got a new job and have taken on a side job as well, just because I am passionate about personal growth and coaching. And so I've gotten a new job as a success coach and going to be doing something else that involves coaching as well. Just kind of blowing the lid off of all the things right now. So I still have my glass of wine, and we are getting into the next 10 pages. 10 pages a day. Your host, Denise McKinney. I always forget that. I just feel like you guys know me so well now. I don't need to introduce myself anymore. So, I say 10 pages. We're doing that whole thing again. Since I gave you the rest of the information on the exercise, the set point ideas that Vishen gave you on pages 102 and 103, we are going to jump to page 104. And that's just a little bit more on the set points. I knew there were more steps. I think in the last one I said that there were only 2. Step 3, so this is after you've set them, and it's actually a perfect point at which to talk about this, is to test your set points and correct if you miss. So this is where he was talking about testing, like, if 50 push-ups is his set point for his health and fitness, if he slips up, then he figures out what he needs to do, which for him I think is a low-carb diet or something. He talks about it in here. And then 1 week later, he will test himself again, and he'll push for 51 push-ups. So again, that return to your set point plus a little bit more to build motivation to say, okay, I can do better than I last did. And not to make it overwhelming, not like, oh, I got to go to 60 push-ups now because I messed up and I couldn't do 50 last time. That's not really sustainable. So energetically, it's not sustainable. And then that's actually step 4. I got ahead of myself, which is turn up the heat in a good way. So that's what he's talking about, is that extra one in the push-ups, whatever the extra effort is, the 1%, so to speak. So he lists after this on page 105 the positive psychology of set points. And he says there's a powerful reason why set points work. It's a natural human tendency to feel that we've failed when we slip from our goals. Can I get an amen? But with set points, a failure is turned into a challenge. That's a beautiful thing. Again, with that curiosity and that positivity, turning a failure into a challenge is a really powerful way to keep motivated and keep moving forward. I kind of decry the whole idea of failure. I think it's BS, really. I think that it's a perception. Failure is a perception, one that you have control over. So I might say, oh, I failed to do... I'm trying to think of something. I can't think of anything right now. I fail at a lot of things. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head for this example. But the point being that failure is opportunity to learn. If we fail, and in our mental construct, a failure is like, the whole thing's over. I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. This is like, say, changing your lifestyle, right? Okay, this is my example. Changing your lifestyle. So I want to eat vegetables, I want to exercise and move my body, doing all these things. And one day goes by where you chow down on mac and cheese and you sit your ass on the couch all day. And The failure mentality is, well, forget it. It's over. All of it. I'm done. I'm the worst person. That was the most terrible thing I could have ever done. The learning opportunity mentality is, I was so motivated last week. What happened yesterday that made me want to just do that? Was I upset about something? Was I scared about something? Was something just too big to deal with? Was I stressed out? I was stressed out about work. Yesterday was a 12-hour day and it was really tough. And I just needed a break. All right. Tomorrow I'll do Zumba and I'll have a kiwi smoothie. I don't know. But energetically, there's a huge difference between throwing the baby out with the bathwater because of a perceived failure and picking yourself up with love, curiosity, and being gentle on yourself and saying, I wonder what that was all about. Okay, moving on. Or in this case, even saying, okay, so I'm going to do, usually I do 15 minutes on the treadmill. Tomorrow I'll do 16. Not 20, not 25. This ain't punishment. There's no need for that. That's where that love and that gentleness and that compassion for ourselves come from. If that's what feels good to you, sure. But my point is, the failure punishment cycle, I encourage you to let that go. I've gone on for far too long about this. I'm going to move on. Law number 5. So convenient how it's sitting right there in chapter number 5, isn't it? Like it was planned, possibly. Upgrade your systems for living. Isn't that the name of the chapter? It is! It's the name of the chapter. Extraordinary minds consistently spend time discovering, upgrading, and measuring new systems for living applied to life, work, heart, and soul. They are in a perpetual state of growth and self-innovation. I told you earlier, way back in the day when we first started this and I was doing my intro, and I talked about being a closet self-help personal growth junkie, right? I'll tell you what. Based on where I have been to where I am now, I would so much rather be in this place, the perpetual state of growth and self-innovation, than in a perpetual state of self-loathing and despair. Just put it to you like that, because that's where I was living. I was living in a place where I just couldn't figure out how to grow, how to be more, how to connect with that version of myself that I knew was possible, but I couldn't figure that out. So, it might sound like a lot, a perpetual state of growth and self-innovation, like, who's got time for all that? I do, because it's so much better than the alternative. For me. I carry on. He talks about the systems of the future. And this is one thing that I really like that he says in this chapter. We've created a society where it's considered normal to wake up with feelings of stress, anxiety, fear, and worry. But it isn't. These feelings aren't meant to be constant states. Awareness, self-awareness is a huge thing. I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm not going to lie to you. Here we go. Just hold on. Self-awareness is a huge thing that I work on with my clients because that discovery, I think that's part of the discovery process, is self-awareness, right? And he talks about that. Stress, the way that we experience it, particularly in our country, is a constant normal, right? So it's interesting because physiologically, again, we're going on a tangent here. Physiologically, your body cannot tell the difference between perceived stress and the stress that might occur if you were, say, running from a lion through the savannah. Kind of a big difference, right? But physiologically, your body does a lot of things. when you are in a life and death situation. So we're talking fight, flight, freeze, those kind of responses, right? So if you were running from a lion after lunch, say, your blood flow is going to move away from your belly into your hands and fingers. Your adrenaline response is going to hit. All this stuff is going to happen so that you can get your ass out of there, right? Because that's not a safe place to be. You need to live. Now, deadlines at work, bills, this, that, all of the things that stress us out in our daily lives, our body, our mind is shuffling through all these things and it's saying stress, 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 stress. Body can't tell the difference. Just can't. It's got a signal coming from the brain that says stress. Even if it's chronic low level, it cannot tell the difference. So think about that for a second. We're jumping off into food here because that's, whatever. But just think about that one area of how we digest food. How efficient is your body at digesting food if all of the blood has diverted to your fingers and toes? I'm not going to show you my toes, but it's not. You've affected your digestive fire. You've put it out for a minute so you can go and get your life from, keep from dying, essentially. So healing our bodies, healing our minds, and essentially, I guess I've never really considered it this way, but healing our lives, our communications with the people that we love, and all of these things come from a more relaxed state. It may sound totally crazy to you. If it does, okay. I'll tell you what though, as a coach and as somebody who has been coached, I'll tell you it makes a huge difference. From somebody who went from a high stress everyday job to being adrenally fatigued, hormonally imbalanced, and sort of like Gollum whenever my honey would tell me something, it makes a difference. So I'm going to let you sit on that for a minute and then, well, no, I'm not because our video is going over time. But the next section of the book is about, actually, I'm going to backtrack really quickly. He says, and this is why I got into coaching, instead of taking pills or engaging in unhealthy habits to suppress our feelings, we can install systems to free them. And he talks about transcendent practices, exercises in gratitude, meditation, compassion, bliss, and other practices that take you beyond or above the range of normal or merely physical human experiences. Ah. That's a whole nother video. But that's what I'm talking about, basically. Anyway, after that, he talks about Arianna Huffington and the way she rules her mind, and she talks about her practices. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. I recommend that you read it. I could do a whole video on meditation and the benefits of how to apply it in different ways, releasing the need to do it right, because there's a lot of feeling about that in the world about, well, I don't think I'm doing this right. And I had that same experience when I started as well. That's another video. But if you have the book, go ahead and give that a look. See if there are any transcendent practices that resonate with you. And I mean, why not start applying them to your life? See what happens. Build awareness around how good it makes you feel, or maybe it doesn't, and how it affects your life. But for today, I'm signing off. I'll see you tomorrow.